Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever your time situation may be today. Today we'll take a brief look at all the modules that are in my LMS right now. And as you can see, I'm obviously using Canvas. So this is just going to be a quick tour of how things are set up. As you can see, we start off with a module 0, how to use the course. It has a description in here and a short video. It shows how the course is set up. I do have some extra modules that are currently unpublished right now to include further information in the event that that becomes necessary. The course does assume that any teacher who is participating has already been through the Modern Classroom Project online course. So I have a page here where they can jump in, register, and participate in that course as needed. I also included some information from research that I've conducted into multimedia learning, and this comes from a book by Richard Meyer called Multimedia Learning, with the principles of how to make your classroom videos more effective by not overwhelming the human brain. So that's included as well in here to help students get the most out of those blended learning videos. I also have a classroom layout map which you'll receive as part of my submission, showing where students collaborate, where teachers would intervene and conference, and also the mastery check zone. This would be the front of the room. Let's jump back to the modules. So that is how to get started with blended learning. I do have progress trackers here, public tracker as well as individual student tracker. And so this is set up so that on the public tracker here in Canvas, students can access this on their individual page. And what they would do is have a live unit here. Just by hitting an X, that changes color, so it makes it easy to see what's happening. And then the student individual trackers would be along the bottom for the teacher, so that makes that a quick and easy check-in on where the students are on their tracker. I included also, this would be the individual one, the tracker I created earlier that might be useful for older students just to help them follow through, and this was created in ThingLink so that they know where they are as part of that tracker. So kind of just a different way of looking at that. Next item, this would be the lesson exemplar, and this is set up with a document here that's unpublished that includes all of the resources in one place. And then from here, students would proceed through anything that has a muscle. That's a must-do. So the lesson overview, this would be to start each day where the teacher could review what we're going to cover during that time period. And then they have the lesson 1 video, which you've already seen, along with the guided notes. And they can complete the guided notes either on paper or as part of a student annotation. The next part of the must-do would be their Nearpod lesson assignment, which you've seen, and that's flexible enough so that students who struggle could do portions of it, or students who are advanced to be able to do all. Then we have a self-evaluation, a little self-assessment for how they're feeling about how the understanding is going for them. And then from here, the first mastery check is set up to be automated. And so the students receive this and they would need to get a score of 80 or higher. At that point, they'd have a brief conference with the teacher about how to proceed next, which would either be a revision, I have those available, and also a lesson should do, which is an IXL lesson, and the breakout. Now the breakout is broken down so that there are 3 sections in the breakout, and then the 4th and 5th would be the conclusion, and so students would work through one section of the breakout each day. So let's jump back to our modules. From here, I added, after each of these lessons, a time for a celebration. Then the teachers participating in this unit would move on to reflection on what they learned from seeing what's available right here as they proceed through. By the way, these muscle ones are set up, as you can see, to have requirements. So they have to view the video to proceed, then they mark the equations Nearpod lesson as done. They have to submit on the self-evaluation and score at least 3 out of 4 on the mastery check. From here, then we move on to the lesson 2 exemplar, which looks exactly the same as lesson 1 with just different content. It has all the same kind of lesson materials, and I use these emojis to sort of, again, help students have expectational set about what's going to happen. So muscles, this would be the must-dos, check marks are the should-dos, and the genies are the aspire-to-do celebrations here. Self-paced instruction review, this would be for the teachers participating in the course. Let's see next. Lesson 3 exemplar looks the same with one exception. On the mastery check, this is where I put that choice board. So the first two assignments are, first two mastery checks are digitized or on paper. This one they have some options, and so I reduced that to have the choice board only one time. So jumping back to the modules, moving on, that was the lesson 3 exemplar. Then some things for mastery-based grading. This would be in addition to anything that I've already done. I realized once I started this that if I added too much about modern classrooms in here, I would be violating all kinds of copyright. So that's why on the overview at the beginning, I've recommended that they take the online project course so they have a background before they even get into this in the first place. From here, we get on to the unit exemplar, which is our student growth assessment. Option 1 is set up to be Google form, so I can collect that data. Option 2 is once they've completed this, if they don't master, have a score of 80 or higher, then at that point the option 2 is a paper-based assessment here where they can take option 2 and I'll review with them at that point. Down here we have student choice and assessment discussion, which is required for any teachers taking the course, and then I've included a unit celebration for everybody. When we get to the end, they can join this experiments with Google Blob Opera, where these characters jump in and you drag and start to sing. I'll skip the tutorial. And so if you've passed it off, you get to create your own opera. So kind of just a fun way to celebrate at the end to provide those students an incentive to get there. Checking back into the module, the last assignment is for the teachers who are going through the course to reflect on what they've learned on modern classrooms and how they're going to apply it. I hope that all makes sense to you. It did take some work, obviously, but it was a lot of fun. I think I learned a lot. Have a great day.